Welcome, welcome. Thanks everyone for joining. Really appreciate your punctuality. The numbers are just increasing on the screen. Over 30 people in the audience, maybe more, over 40 now. So the number is creeping up. We would love to hear from you where you're tuning in from, just by first name and city or area that you're tuning in from. It's always a nice place to start and see who's tuning in from, possibly from all over the UK. Let's see. And we'll be starting shortly. Hello, Katie from Edinburgh. Warwick, Birmingham, Norwich, London, Brighton, Bolton, Kent. Amazing. Wales and so on. Brilliant. It's so lovely to have you all here. I think we have a really great turnout today, over 90 people, which is fantastic news. And we may even creep up to 100. So let's see. But let's get started. I'm just going to introduce myself. I'm Laura, Director of Access at Creative Access, and it's lovely to be with you this evening. Hope you're all sitting comfortably. We're here for the summer internships webinar with Cambridge University Press and Assessment, and looking forward to sharing further details about all of those opportunities connected. So a little overview about Creative Access to begin with. If you're not already familiar with what we do, we are a social enterprise working to make the creative industries reflect society, and we provide career-long access opportunities, support and training to individuals from underrepresented groups. We work with leading creative employers throughout the UK to connect with opportunities and help you to unlock your potential. It's a lovely photo from our 10-year anniversary a couple of years ago, featuring a lot of our alumni community who are working in the creative industries. So what we'll be covering today, we will be providing further information about the Summer Internships Programme and additional context on Cambridge University Press and Assessment, who are a world leader in assessment, education, research and academic publishing. We'll talk about the various opportunities available through their Summer Internship Programme and what that might involve on a day-to-day basis and what you can expect. You'll also hear from a former intern as they speak on their experience and what they've been up to since. So I'm delighted to have one of our alumni here today, and also some top tips on how to apply and further advice and guidance from the team. So absolutely delighted to invite the team here to introduce themselves and provide a little bit more information about their respective roles. So I'm going to hand over to the Cambridge University Press and Assessment team who have kindly joined us this evening. So over to Rachel.
Hi everyone, I'm Rachel Logan. I'm the School Liaison and Insight Manager. I've been with Cambridge for nearly 13 years, and before that I was an examiner for 2 years. I went to art college, I trained as an art teacher, I did a potter's apprenticeship, I've run an international tableware company, and I've also been a curriculum writer and an examiner, and I work for Cambridge on state education systems for our ministry partners. And now I work in an insight and ideation team, really closely with customers and with product teams to bring out new products for our customers.
And hi, I'm Carrie Pavitt. I'm the Stakeholder Relations and Events Manager within the External Communications and Brand team as part of the overarching organisation. I've been with the organisation for over 25 years. I came out of university and was looking for some work just to get me started. I'd done a degree in Earth Science and Countryside Management, but I ended up working in the marketing team, and because I'd had office skills in a part-time job before, and it's just evolved from there. And it's an amazing organisation, and as part of my development I've been able to get professional qualifications in marketing and communications, which kind of support what I was doing in a day-to-day job, so it's really helped me grow and evolve.
Thanks, Carrie. And it makes me feel nervous now talking about myself after those two great introductions. But hi, everyone. I'm Kaya Spencer. I am the Learning and Development Specialist for Early Careers at Cambridge. I'm relatively new to the role, but have previously worked at Cambridge within project manager roles and employee experience specialisms. And I'm actually the lead for the apprenticeship programme this year. So I'm organising and coordinating all of the bits behind the scenes, And I guess something interesting about me and my experience at Cambridge is I am a double apprentice, joining first as an entry-level apprentice in 2015, and more recently I have graduated as a chartered management degree apprentice in 2023.
Thanks, Kaya. Hi everyone, I'm Khadija Ahmed and I'm a marketing exec at Bloomsbury Publishing. I started my journey as an intern at Cambridge University Press and Assessment before landing my marketing internship at Bloomsbury Academic, and I've worked my way up from being an assistant to a coordinator and now as an exec, so time has flown. It's been quite a journey, but mine started with this very internship, so this is truly a blast from the past for me. But yeah, like I took a chance with sending off my application via Creative Access, and it's led me to where I am today. So it's a pleasure to be here today.
Amazing. Thanks so much, everyone, for your introductions, and we'll be hearing more from everyone here on the call as we go along. So next slide. So the reason everyone's come together this evening is to explore the summer internship opportunities at Cambridge University Press and Assessment. And there's a wide range of opportunities available. I put a QR code there that will link you through to the Cambridge University Press and Assessment profile page on the Creative Access Opportunities board, if you want to kind of reference some of the information as you're on the webinar. But essentially, we're working in partnership to advertise these incredible opportunities, which returns this summer. So there's various opportunities open for application, and Kaya will be providing further details and headlines about those opportunities. And then we've got Rachel and Gary, who will do a deeper dive on their respective interns in their teams. And then Khadija will also share her journey and what she's been up to since she did the internship a few years ago. So essentially, whether you're passionate about editorial or want to learn more about publishing or eager to explore product design, digital sustainability or data, there's so many different opportunities available. And hopefully this evening will provide a bit more context on the types of and wide range and breadth of opportunities available. So I'm going to hand over now to Kaya to tell us more about what it's like working at Cambridge University Press and Assessment.
Thank you, Laura. So hi everyone, and thanks for joining. So I'm going to tell you a bit about Cambridge. So most of you will have heard of us through our connection to the University of Cambridge, or for being one of the world's oldest publishers. At Cambridge, we are passionate about the development of teaching, learning and assessment worldwide, and our mission is to unlock the potential of learners and educators around the world through high quality resources, products and services. Being part of Cambridge is not only about education, it's about being in pursuit of potential. This can be the development of innovation, empowerment and development itself for self and for others. It's like being part of a huge team that shapes the future of education, where your ideas and creativity can make a real impact. Whether you're interested, as Laura said, in editorial work, in digital sustainability, data, EDIB, or even people in culture, Cambridge offers a really dynamic environment where people can grow, learn and thrive. We're also really proud to have hosted interns for a number of years now, and one of our largest intakes took place last year when we hosted 26 interns who joined our programme from programmes like 10,000 Black Interns and Creative Access, and also from universities across the country. So next slide, please. I'll also talk a bit about, so we've got a quick video and then I can tell you about our structure. So if we can play that, thank you.
Being part of Cambridge University Press and Assessment
means pursuing potential.
For longer than almost anyone else,
we've helped millions of people across the world unlock their potential.
What draws us here and what keeps us here is the pursuit of potential for the people we serve, students, teachers and researchers, helping shape the future of global education, learning and research.
We're embracing change and innovation
to meet our global customers' changing needs.
We must be bold
and keep focused
on the impact we can have on people, society and the planet.
We dare to innovate and we dare to use new technology, new knowledge to further our purpose, brought about by very strong teams trying new things.
Knowing that I could have a real impact as part of a team on the lives of so many people around the world in an area that I care so deeply about.
We have large data to support us, but we immerse ourselves with users in their offices or classrooms to gain that deeper understanding of their needs and wants.
Sustainability is really important. We're working hard to keep learning and improve our own understanding, but more importantly, show our commitment through our actions.
Our values, purpose and expertise
power our mission.
We are trusted around the world as both an authority on education and our association with the university, but also as a partner that really tries hard to understand the local context and co-create experiences for our learners.
Learning is such a great leveler. It can help new generations escape poverty, improve the global mobility and social mobility, and that's really close to my heart.
Our exams and products really open doors and give learners opportunity around study, work, all aspects of life really.
Our community is a place where everyone belongs.
The space here to find your potential
and help others find theirs.
We want to empower people here to challenge the status quo.
You could be yourself at Cambridge every day. It's really an inclusive environment to work in.
Cambridge embraces diversity and we really want people to have a sense of belonging here.
I consider myself a citizen of the world, and it was really important for me to find a place where I feel like I belong.
Well-being is really important, and it's about creating that safe space, that inclusive environment. That's what makes us powerful and better than other organizations.
We want to inspire unbounded exploration,
knowing that there's always more to discover.
Cambridge has supported my development by helping me to realise my true potential.
The biggest sense of purpose is to be able to help, mentor and learn from those people around me.
Working here really helped me kind of get back to the person who I was with my mental health.
People support each other and empower each other to go further. I feel like I've grown as a person.
Together, we're taking our organisation further than ever before.
Join us on Cambridge's remarkable journey to do something that really matters.
Are you ready to pursue your potential?
Fab. I feel like I completely forgot that I was in that video, so it wasn't a shameless plug. But yes, it completely encapsulates Cambridge and really kind of demonstrates what we're about as an organisation. I love the fact that, you know, we show how global we are and how far our reach kind of really is. So yeah, that's Cambridge. So I'm here going to talk about some of our roles, but I'll quickly go over the program structure. So we're really excited to share that our program this year will consist of a range of centralized events designed to enable and support development and growth of students, enriching the overall experience, and all candidates will be assigned to a specific job role and work on projects over the 8-week duration to help you gain valuable and hands-on experience. Some of these events may include, so there will definitely be an induction, there'll be learning and development events, recruitment support, and there'll also be introduction into key skills for the future, including change, data and AI, amongst other things. And we also have really inclusive elements, so introduction to things like staff networks, including our very own Young Employees Network. So just moving on then to talk around the specific job roles. So you can see them listed here on screen, and I'll just give a very quick overview of each, if that's okay. Hopefully you won't be sick of the sound of my voice by the end of this, but I will be passing over to my colleagues to speak a bit about their specific roles as well. So impact and evaluation support intern. This role is all about managing and analysing data, creating visual reports and supporting impact evaluation projects to demonstrate that Cambridge University Press and Assessment's mission and how we are benefits led. Then we have the editorial and EDI support intern, so EDI, Equality, Diversity, Inclusion, and this is to support the Propositions Excellence team in their work on developing an equality, diversion and inclusion learning pathway, so testing, training materials, frameworks and reviewing scoring materials. Then we've got the experience designer role. So experience design, all about kind of user experience. So experience and service design, supporting the team to design a range of digital experiences, including websites, apps, and more. Digital sustainability and data internship. So this will be all around the work with the digital sustainability team to calculate and report emissions for technology and digital products, helping to innovate on our digital sustainability processes and tools, and also assist in the creation of an environmental data hub. Then there's the product insights intern. So no spoilers, I want to give Rachel a chance to talk about her role, but that role you'll be specifically supporting projects across all aspects of the product development cycle to support the insight, ideation and impact team with the wider teaching and learning products. Then we have academic books and text, the textbooks and editorial team. So working with the team to collaborate with editors in Cambridge, New York, and other locations. And academic books and editorials in turn will cover a mixture of responsibilities to give you a rich and varied experience on tasks being undertaken by the team. I think, can we have, oh no, not next slide yet, but people and culture coordinator intern. So this role plays a crucial role in supporting the organisation and delivery of various initiatives and events within our people and culture team. So if you've not heard of people and culture before, it is how we refer to our HR team within the organisation. And the role will promote the use of products and services available to enable Cambridge University Press and Assessment to be a great place to work for our colleagues. Then we have content assistant. So this will be working within the international education business area to develop educational products for the international and UK schools market across a wide range of subjects. Then we have product management intern within the Partnership for Education. So CPE stands for Partnership for Education. And we have that role supporting the development and delivery of our live products aimed at transforming education systems around the world, working with ministries of education, donor organisations and private foundations. Can we have the next slide, please? I can see, lots of questions coming up in the chat as well, so hopefully we'll come to those at the end if that's okay. So materials and conferences assistant, you'll be providing administrative and editing support to our education team. The role will offer successful candidates a chance to develop a wide range of skills applicable to similar positions in the creation and review of materials and the management of conferences. Then we have the product administration intern. So this role provides efficient administrative support to the OCR product directorate as directed by the development projects manager. So this is a project-based role that is responsible for creating and maintaining the OCR portfolio. And I'll also pop in a bit more about OCR into the chat afterwards. So diversity and inclusion assistant intern, so it's organisation and administration of EDIB activities and events, including supporting the global staff networks. Then we have the climate education resources design intern, so looking at research and compilation of mathematical modelling resources for education, evaluating their success criteria and collaborating with the researchers to identify and design new educational topics and resources. Teaching and learning product management intern. So this is all around the product management support for the learning solutions team. Oh, no, sorry, that's the next one. Sorry. So that's the teaching and learning product team, enabling learners to be ready for the world by creating products and services which inspire teaching, give confidence, and bring learning to life. So learning solutions intern. So this is about supporting the learning solutions team in enriching processes for resources adaptations to meet regional and customer needs. You will work closely with the team to help identify areas for improvement, contributing to the process improvement and innovative workflows. Then we have accessibility intern around alternative text. So enhancing the accessibility of Cambridge mathematics images and infographics by creating and embedding alternative text, evaluating AI-generated versus human-generated alternative text and reporting the findings. This will help to develop the best practice guidelines for future use. And last but not least, the external comms and brand intern role. Again, I won't add any spoilers as this is Carrie's role, but you will play a key role in supporting the delivery of high impact events, engaging in social media content and effective PR activities to enhance Cambridge's reputation, including organising and coordinating physical, virtual and hybrid events. Okay, and I think that's all of our roles on the list. So I will now hand over to Rachel to talk about her role.
Thank you, Kaya. So I'll be looking after the product insights intern in the insight ideation and impact team. So we're a team of 5 people at the moment, and we sit within a larger teaching and learning product team. So there is another internship in that team, which I might be able to answer some questions about. We are in the international education part of the business. So the schools that we work with are international schools around the world. So it's really important that everything that we produce has got that really diverse customer voice at the heart of it. So when I say insight, I mean competitor research, customer insight, interviews, surveys, feedback from customers. We've got a consumer research panel that is very active. So we moderate conversations and we interview customers all the time. And we make sure that the things that they're saying are really amplified throughout the business, throughout the product teams. And I've just been reading a report from our CEO, who just talked about our developments with AI and used some quotes from our customers in that work, which is really important. So customer research, market research and product development, just making sure that everything that we produce really fits our customer needs. And we work very far in advance. It can take at least 2 years to get a product to market. And obviously things can change in that time. So it's really important that we know what's happening. Next slide, please. I think I've got 4 slides, but I'm not going to read them to you. I'm just going to talk over them. So the research activities are really important. And I just saw a question from somebody about client-facing and research-based. And I would say that this job is the most customer-facing. I have a very customer-focused job. I'm just about to go out and visit a lot of primary schools in Indonesia and really take that kind of teacher voice back to what we say. So that our product teams are really aware of everything. So it's very active. It's not desk research. It's really talking to people, customer interviews, teacher interviews, focus groups, that kind of thing. So, and what we want our intern to do is really own the research that they're doing. So you'll be working on projects, customer research, market research, competitor research, and then you'll actually be presenting those research findings back to our teaching and learning product team, who are the commissioners and the people that produce the work, and also our stakeholders, our senior directors. And we work really collaboratively across all of the business. So we'll be working with the qualifications team, the assessment team, the marketing team as well. We've done a lot with the digital team at the moment. So it's really collaborative, and it's making sure that information from the customers goes to everybody at the same time. So you'll be very influential with your presentation skills. Next slide, please. So what I'm looking for, I'm not looking for somebody that knows all the answers. I'm looking for someone that's really curious, that's interested in publishing or education, that's interested in product development, that's interested in, I see lots of people using AI in their kind of cover sheets, and in their cover letters, and I really want somebody that can really back up what they're saying. So lots of people say I'm using data-driven insights, and that is exactly what I do. And what I want to know is what you mean by that. So how you would actually use that data to make improvements, to make our products better, to make them sell more, to make them more attractive to teachers, and to inspire teaching and learning around the world. So data analysis is really important as well, data visualization, and I think creativity as well. It's a very creative role. It's about really bringing that kind of data to life as well. I think that might be, have I got another slide? One more slide. Okay, so research skills, the willingness to learn. I think I've already said that. I don't need someone that knows all the answers. What's the point in that? We're all about learning in Cambridge University Press and Assessment. We're continuously trying to improve, and kind of we want someone with a really positive attitude who's excited and wants to kind of find out more and contribute to our prestigious kind of track record of really improving outcomes around the world. So passionate, interested, excellent communication, creative problem solving, all that kind of thing. That's exactly what I'm looking for. And I'll be answering your questions in the chat next. Thank you. Over to Carrie.
Everybody. So as it says in the tin, I am external communications and brand intern manager and recruiting for this role. External communications and brand, we're part of the overarching part of the organisation, so we're representing the entire organisation, all the different elements that we work on and do, and audiences that we work with, from website content development, all the new, if you go to cambridge.org, all the news stories and features and insights are written by members of our team. We're kind of sort of talking about latest publications of books. We've just published the Mike Berners-Lee Climate of Truth book, so we're doing a lot of communications around that. We talk about climate education, AI and technology developments, and how that plays out for education. And we publish reports as well. So there's lots of different things. We're a team of probably over about a growing team of over 15 people, and we are specialists in communication. So I'm events manager, so I'm kind of sort of coordinating lots of events, from panel discussions to sort of 300 delegate conferences. We might be doing something at the party conferences. There's all sorts of lots of different activity that I arrange. And also we've got specialists in film and video production. You'll see videos on our website and in our social comms. And we've also got social media experts looking at how we put content out across our channels. So it's a really wide and varied team, and we often work on integrated campaigns. So all of those different elements and threads come together in a coherent campaign. Can I have the next slide, please? So what the role is going to be is really varied. You'll have an opportunity to work in sort of a lot of the different functions. So is it on working with the design team on the development of the brand and how that's kind of sort of plays out and utilised across all of our different communications channels, and with colleagues around the organisation, helping them to understand the work of the brand. There'll be kind of sort of logistical parts. So you might be booking rooms and venues and liaising with colleagues about what's happening at a particular event. But there's also the opportunity to be looking at media monitoring. We do a lot of monitoring and conveying top stories happening in education and publishing around the world. And so we synthesize that on a daily basis. Other elements include kind of sort of creating interesting and engaging pieces of social media content. So short video clips, images. We often do, you quite see sort of word of the week come taken from our dictionary pages. So there's lots of different elements, and also have public relations functions. So kind of sort of engaging with key stakeholders. It might be education experts, it might be policy makers, and learning, finding different ways to approach them. Next slide, please. So what we're looking for is we're really looking for someone who's got a strong interest in communications and marketing, that's got good sorry, mess up on the one that says about communication. Sorry, trip over my own tongue. We're looking for an outstanding level of English. All our communications are predominantly in the English medium. So we're looking for people that can write well and kind of communicate with others. Sometimes it's communicating with colleagues and not just what you're writing for external. A good level of organisation and planning and collaborating with people within the team and around the organisation to make sure everything's aligned. And we're looking for someone who's motivated and passionate about what they're doing. We've had there's so much going on around the organisation. It's good to be able to kind of ask questions, to get to know people really quickly. Networks are really strong across the organisation, and we're a large organisation of sort of over 7,000 people. So being able to kind of sort of know who to get in touch with, so that those skills play really well as well. And final slide, please. Trying to remember what the final slide is. Oh, sorry. So I only had 3 slides. Just before I pass you over, just to sort of say, check out the Day in the Life of an Intern video on our social media channels, and I think it's part of the promotion for this event. These roles is we've got a wonderful that was taken from our intern last year. Got to work on lots of different projects, and it was a lovely piece of work. It really kind of sort of gives insight into what it's like to be part of the team. Thank you. Lydia.
Sorry, my mic was being a bit. Ooh. Hi everyone, I'm really glad to be here today just to share my experience as a former intern, and encourage everyone to apply to these great internships and opportunities. So in terms of my journey, I graduated from the University of Warwick with a degree in English literature and creative writing. While I was at university, I set up and I handled submissions process for zines and just like collaborative cross-society submissions for just like a creative way of like, you know, soliciting poetry, and we used to do a lot of events and just getting involved and stuck in and just meeting as many people as possible. And I used to do this for the Liberation Societies. I also took a module on small press publishing, which I didn't know anything about, but once I got started into it, I learned the history of publishing, which is a very interesting way to learn about publishing in general. But speaking to other people in my course, people would say, oh, you know, like I'm interested in getting into publishing. I thought, oh, I've heard that a couple of times. Let me look into what that is and just see why that's a very popular route of like a career choice for people with my degree. So that's when I started doing my research. And then once I was in second year, I was on Creative Access, as many of us do lurk there. And I saw the Cambridge University Press internships. And at first I was like, can I actually apply to this? And I went for it, and I wasn't sure about the cover letter, but I just remember hitting send at around like close to midnight, and I closed my eyes and I completely forgot about it until I was offered an interview, and I did my research, which is a typical going website and stalking every single person you can see on the interview lineup. And from there, I think it was just a case of the fact that I just really wanted to learn. Like I was really, really curious, and I just expressed that a lot in my interview, and lo and behold, somehow miraculously, I got the internship. So during my internship, I was assigned to the commissioning team in the education division. As an intern, I vetted proposals via email, so these were like cold call sort of proposals, and I reached out to potential authors for new projects using the editorial guidelines. I proofread manuscripts and I made editorial adjustments that aligned with the house style. I liaised with copy editors and development editors to meet project deadlines. I also did quite a bit of market research and organized those research findings for customer development interviews and teams. Also, along the lines of the research, I monitored competitor activities, which was really fun. So I'd go into, Oxford University Press's website and see what they were getting up to, and I presented those findings back to the commissioning team, which was really fun. In terms of admin, I coordinated postal deliveries for teachers and examiners who wanted to review the latest editions of the education textbooks, and I also picked up a lot of admin tasks that I wasn't really too familiar with, or the kind of tasks that you will get asked in future interviews, which include answering phone calls, monitoring emails, maintaining team diaries, scheduling meetings, taking minutes, all of which came into clutch later on when I was applying for other internships and roles. So it was a very good baseline for me. In terms of the highlights, what I enjoyed most is talking to people about their career journeys. Throughout my internship, you would come across a lot of different people from a lot of different teams, and sometimes you wouldn't really know what it was that they did. But just through like the lunches and the team meetings, you were always allowed to participate and ask questions, and your voice was very much like, you were very much encouraged to get involved. It wasn't a case of just sitting there in a corner quietly, like you would actually be immersed into it, and you would get to see the prep before meetings and after meetings and get like a holistic overview of what it is that people are working on and why they're working on what they do, which I think is very important when you're an intern, so that you can sort of connect the bigger picture. I also learned a very important skill, which I use to this day, which is I learned to ask questions, very silly ones. Now I've learned there's no such thing as a silly question, but I think, yeah, just getting out there and asking people about anything from their career journey to what they like about their job or what they don't like about their job, because people are always generally going to want to help you. So it's just a case of putting yourself out there. And that's one thing that I really, really enjoyed about my internship. And everybody that we met had invaluable insight to share, and their story was unique to their own journey, which I found incredibly inspiring, because no journey was the same as another. And then in terms of post-internship, so I did the internship in my second year, and then I started my final year of uni. I don't know how many of you guys are in your final year or about to start or have completed that, but I didn't have time to be thinking too much about internships after that. But once I did graduate, I went traveling for a bit, and then I came back, and unfortunately for me and everybody generally, COVID struck, and there was almost like a standstill and a bit of uncertainty just with applications in general. So it was, for me personally, it was quite a challenge trying to figure out what to apply for next and just the roles. But it also gave me a lot of time to fine tune my applications, and Creative Access do have a lot of masterclasses and events where they will genuinely help you tailor your CV to the places that you will be applying. So I would definitely say take advantage of every resource and every opportunity that you can get. And yeah, and my biggest advice would probably be, don't feel demoralized, just keep applying and applying and applying. I know sometimes it feels like there's no light at the end of the tunnel. I'm here to tell you that there is. Definitely apply for this, apply for everything that you possibly can, and just to reiterate, you lose out on every role that you don't apply to. And for me personally, rejection actually became the reason why I landed my role at Bloomsbury. So I had applied to an editorial assistant position after many, many months of applying for roles. And I did get interviewed, but I didn't land the role. And I was very dejected, but I got an email from HR a couple of days later, and they asked me, would you be interested in a marketing internship? And I thought marketing wasn't really something I considered, but I was so delighted in being able to just get my foot in the door that I was like, absolutely. So I interviewed for the role, and I was just like so happy and so enthusiastic that it kind of came through in the interview, and I was offered the position. And since then, I have been in the same team, and I love it here. Yeah, so I was a marketing intern at Bloomsbury Academic, became an assistant, and then a coordinator. And now I'm an exec, and I've been here for 4.5 years, and time has flown. But yeah, my overall advice is just to keep the momentum going, and every application that you send out will be the next one that gets you that step closer to your roles. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell. Thank you.
Khadija, thank you so much for providing that that insight into your former experience and career pathway today. It's lovely to hear about your journey, and yeah, we're going to be kind of covering some questions now in the Q&A function. So just to flag, if you have already asked a question that hasn't yet been answered in today's webinar, please do pop it in the Q&A function. That's the best place to get your question viewed. And then if you aren't sure about asking a question, do have a little look at the questions that have been asked already and upvote your favorites by clicking into the thumbs up icon. Our panelists may also kind of add some additional context if that's helpful. So thanks to those of you that also submitted questions in advance. So we've got some lovely examples here, and we've got a nice amount of time, about 20 minutes or so. So I'm going to spend 5 to 10 minutes on the questions submitted in advance, and then I'm going to move across and answer, start with the panel to answer some of the questions in the Q&A function and put those to the panel here. So bear with me while I just stop sharing my screen to bring up all our lovely panelists. And I am going to kick off with our first question, specifically around kind of the number of opportunities that are available in total. And kind of a follow-on question from that is it possible to apply to more than one? What would be the best strategy? Kaya, I might ask you to take that question if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So initially we had 20, and this might also cover one of the other questions that came up in the chat that I noticed that I tried to eagerly answer, but I didn't manage to get there. So originally we had 21 roles that were available to students and other candidates. So there have been 2 roles that have been closed down slightly early, just because, of course, we kind of reserve the right to close down roles where we find that there are a suitable number of applications. And it just so happened that the 2 roles that have been closed had over 200 applications. So hence why they've been taken off. But all of the other 19 roles, and I say 19 instead of 17, which were listed, is because there are 2 roles on there that have 2 actual placements inside. So that's the one of, I think, the EDI impact role and the academic books role. There's 2 placements available in that position, but other than that, all of the other roles have a single placement available. So essentially, yes, still 19 positions available.
Thank you.
Oh, and sorry, was there something else on the back end of that question that I haven't covered? Oh, can people apply for more than one?
Yeah.
And absolutely, yes. So I did try to pop a note in the chat. So we're encouraging anybody who's interested to apply for the roles that they're interested in, as long as they're kind of very much aligned to their skills, experience, and to their future aspirations. I'd say perhaps in moderation, but absolutely, our roles are kind of open to multiple applicants.
Mm-hmm. And I'm now going to put a similar question along that vein to Carrie and Rachel in terms of, you know, it may be the case that people have applied to more than one role, but I think it's pretty important that people still write tailored applications for the specific role that they're applying to. So just kind of interested in builds on that, on what each of you are looking for specifically against the role that you're hiring.
I think just a point on what Kaya just said about some have closed with 200 applications. So just remember that we're going to read all of those letters and we're going to look through all of those CVs. So if you've written the same letter for everything and it's not tailored to that job, it's very easy to miss that you might be the most amazing person for that job. I want to believe that you are worth an interview. When I read your cover letter, I want to think, oh my gosh, they sound really great. I'm definitely going to call them in. Because this is very competitive, I'm sorry to say, but you really need to stand out. And we at Cambridge, it is really about the people. So we're not looking for loads and loads of experience. We're just looking for that passion, that really interested in working for, why you're interested in working for us. You don't need to tell us all about our website. You just need to tell us like why you'd be a really great fit.
That as well. And I think with hundreds of applications to go through, making sure that you're kind of looking through the particular job role to make sure that it is the job that you want to be doing and that you're passionate about and you've got interest in. We want to hear that and we want to read that coming through, but also kind of skill matching as well is kind of sort of demonstrating the skills that we're looking for demonstrating that where you've got experience and giving us evidence for that. And coming from communications, making sure it's clear to read. So don't cram everything in, just kind of sometimes less is more, and makes it easier to read and for the key facts to jump out at us as we scan through.
Everyone. And now we've had quite a few questions along this vein, and kind of interested to know who these opportunities for. So Khadija referenced that she applied as a student. It sounds like we've got some recent graduates interested, but also perhaps people with postgraduate qualifications or later on into their careers, career pivoters. Kai, a question to you is, are there any kind of upper age limits for this opportunity?
Thank you, Laura. No, it is a really good question. And I think, with the way that the market is moving and the way that organisations want to be and aspire to be more inclusive, we are getting there in terms of broadening our scope in the types of candidates that we would like to offer internships to. Now, that brings me down to this year specifically. I think typically we are in a place where we are continuing the practices that we've kind of set up over the previous years. So generally our intakes have been current students and recent graduates. Now, it's not to say that, people within the upper age limit bracket cannot be considered at all, because we haven't specifically stipulated that. And I think, again, it just goes back to really the kind of aspirations and the impact that our internship could have on the candidate. So it's about really kind of demonstrating that if it's really significant, I'm sure that managers and hiring managers within the business are still open to reviewing those applications. But yeah, just to kind of circle back, I think typically internships have previously been for kind of current students and recent graduates.
Thanks, Kaya. So yeah, key message on that is that there's no upper age limit. If you are a career pivoter, for instance, then please do explain that in your application and provide a strong rationale for what you would gain and your potential to benefit from this opportunity, so that the hiring manager can consider that when they're making their decision. Cool. So I'm going to kind of talk more about the application process itself, which is going all through Cambridge University Press. So Creative Access will not be involved in that side of things. We're advertising these incredible opportunities, but Cambridge University Press and Assessment are leading on the recruitment. So I'm specifically interested to hear from the team in terms of what do hiring managers look for in candidates, particularly in terms of interests, experience, passions. What would make an application stand out to you, and perhaps any pitfalls to avoid? So top tips, advice and guidance on applications from Carrie and Rachel, please.
Rachel, can you go first? I'm just about to cough.
Top tips on applications. Well, I would say really write your letter from the heart. If you are going to use ChatGPT, just go back over it and check it, and be honest about what you've got as well. We don't expect you to come with all the answers, but a willingness to learn. So you might be really great at something and something else appeals to you, but you've never done it. Like, be honest about that. Because we will ask you in your interview to back up the points that you've made. And if it's a little bit of ChatGPT magic, that can be a bit disappointing for an interview. And we want this to be a really positive experience for you as well. This is important to us. The interns are really important. When I was listening to Kaya, the words you kept saying was crucial. Like, your skills, your passion, your experience is what we need as well. So let that come across. Why do you want to work here? What's good about you? What will you get, and what will you get from this, and where will it fit in the context of your career? Especially listening to Khadija and the impact that it made on her career. That's really powerful stuff.
I suppose I'd follow that up with sort of saying, it'd be interesting to hear and read about what makes you passionate about these things. This evidenced kind of sort of authentic self is really important when you're writing an application. We want to understand, we want to be able to see that you understand what the role's asking for, and in a clear and concise way explain why that would be you. Make it interesting, make it engaging, and think about you're going to be up against hundreds of other people, so how do you stand out? And I must admit, I'd be a purist and say I'd avoid ChatGPT, but there's nothing wrong with using it, but as you say, kind of sort of don't rely on it. You've got to kind of sort of, you've got to write it about yourself. You've got to make sure it's consistent and true with what you're getting from.
Thank you both for your honest answers. And I really like this question in terms of, and I'm going to ask it from the point of view of someone who's been through the experience, Khadija, but also kind of from the point of view of the employer, Cambridge University Press. So Khadija, to start with you, perhaps, you know, starting your Cambridge University Press and Assess internship, what did success look like for you? What were the kind of projects and milestones that made it, you know, something that you were proud of? Maybe to reference some of those, and then perhaps we can hear on kind of, you know, what, from the point of view of the employers, what does success look like in an internship more broadly, and maybe an example from Carrie and Rachel as to what that would look like translated into their roles.
I think for me, it was the type of questions that I was asking. I was able to ask better questions. So at first, you think that you're going to hit the ground running, then you realize I'm actually here to learn, and it does take quite some time to shake off that feeling of like perfection, like I'm here to make a good impression. But really and truly, you should center the fact that this is a learning experience, that you're here to soak in as much as you possibly can, and to go out of your comfort zone by speaking to other interns and other people and asking them about their career journeys. In terms of actual tasks, for me, it was a case of, if I was assigned a task, I would try and figure out how to do it on my own using the instructions that I was given. And then afterwards, I would present back those findings and ask how I could improve. And with each task and each deadline or each project, I always made sure that I was thinking about, okay, even if this is good, how do I apply this feedback so that I can make it better? And beyond that, just keeping a log of everything that you do, because you will come across so many different and new experiences and skills that you're developing. So keeping even like a weekly diary or weekly journal. I used to email myself back and I'd be like, okay, this is what I did today. Just because for me, it was just trying to keep record of the end of the day and coming back in. Because if you haven't worked in an office environment, it is quite new as an intern. So you just kind of want to make sure that you structure your day in those ways. And there's lots of other soft skills that you'll be learning along the way. So success for me is just making sure that you're open to learning as much as you can, and you're curious and you're enthusiastic, and that you really do want to be there, not just to have something on your CV, but just to meet as many people and take in the experience for everything that it can offer.
I'm going to say, yeah, questions. I think asking questions is a brilliant skill to have. And over time, you get to kind of refine the kinds of questions you ask. And, but yes, getting to know everybody. The fantastic thing that we watched last year was the cohort of interns that we had. Really had an opportunity to grow as a community in themselves, as well as being part of the organisation. And that was just brilliant to share, because that experience of sharing was just wonderful. It gave a really positive opportunity and an ability for everybody to learn so much more so quickly, because they all had different experiences and different elements of the organisation to share. I think, yeah, being enthusiastic, passionate, and just kind of sort of, I just want to reiterate that point that you made, Khadija, which was about your comfort zone. The more you kind of ask questions or speak to new people, the more it becomes kind of sort of commonplace and less scary. And so I just absolutely embrace that. Every intern gets a mentor within the team as well. So you've got your line manager, your mentor, then you've got all the people that you're working with. And yeah, just to kind of sort of embrace the opportunity and yeah, be certain that this is what the role you're looking at, or the kind of area that you want to be working in, because it makes it so much more relevant to what you're doing. We can learn from you, you can learn from us, you can ask us questions, and we can find out more about you and what inspires you, and we're all learning together, which is a great opportunity.
Yeah, I don't mind pitching in off the back of what Carrie just said, and I think Carrie, you delivered that brilliantly. Do you want my job? Do you want to lead the program? Yeah, no, so I just wanted to refer back really to just what I mentioned when I said, you know, we are designing the program with a range of centralized events, and it's designed to kind of really enrich the experience for our successful candidates. So, you know, we're aiming to foster inclusion, help people feel comfortable in our organisation so that they can share ideas, be creative, and we want to support people's careers. So one of the main goals for us is to help students kind of identify their goals when they join us, and kind of track those goals as they move through the duration of the program, to kind of see kind of where they started and where they get to at the end, and really recognize that kind of progression and development. So that's one of the kind of key aims for me, especially from the perspective of learning and development, just to be, as Khadija and Carrie have mentioned, be really curious about areas in which they can explore, to network, to build those networks and kind of make connections, and also to kind of be open to re-engagement as well. Sorry, when I say re-engagement, I mean as well. So yeah, coming potentially, you know, in the future, potentially coming back to us is what I mean.
Lovely. So now I want to ask a question around kind of accommodation. So we've had quite a few questions around kind of commuting in, potentially relocating for the opportunity, the kind of limited opportunities in Cambridge for affordable accommodation on a short-term basis, and that perhaps being a barrier. So kind of interested to know what are the options available, Kaya.
Thank you. Sorry, I muted myself. So yeah, no, it's a really great question, and something that we've kind of really agonized on at Cambridge. So this year, kind of just due to the increased number of the roles that we are offering, accommodation isn't something that we're able to provide as standard. So we're really encouraging candidates to make informed decisions about the distance of which they're prepared to travel. But it's not to say that, you know, we're not open to reviewing individual circumstances for, you know, selected candidates. It's something that you know, we have been able to offer in the past in pockets, but I think there's just some challenges in terms of some of the things that we need to work out internally to enable us to do that. So you know, things like safeguarding and other aspects, including kind of the financial aspect. But yeah, so I guess the short answer is we can't necessarily guarantee accommodation this time around, but we are willing to kind of look into individual cases and circumstances.
Thanks, Kaya. And I imagine that would be discussed, you know, at the hiring, you know, kind of interview upon offer. Okay, cool. So yeah, now I think it would be really helpful to kind of understand what is the next steps in the process. So obviously we're still advertising these opportunities. When are they due to close? I know that you're encouraging people to apply kind of sooner rather than later, just so they don't miss out on the opportunity. But could you talk us through what happens next in terms of people putting an application? When are they likely to hear back on the outcome of whether they've been progressed to interview and so on?
Yes, absolutely. So our roles, the remaining roles that are open will be open until the 23rd. That's our kind of standard closing date. As I mentioned before earlier in the call, there are some roles that are have received a huge amount of applications, are completely, or not completely, is very competitive is what I want to say, sorry. So we are encouraging people to apply as soon if they are interested for the positions, but that's not to say that potentially, you know, the roles can still be open until the kind of main deadline, which is next Wednesday, the 23rd of April. And what I would say is, the next phase is the interviewing phase. So if you are shortlisted, you will be invited to interview, and you should hear from us soon after the closing date. So I think the kind of deadline that our managers have internally for pulling together all of their shortlists is the Friday, the 2nd of May. So you will have heard something from us after the 2nd of May. There'll be a period of interviewing, which I think is around 2 weeks from the 2nd of May to around the 16th, I believe. Is that a Monday? Yeah, or even, I think it's the 16th. But yeah, do feel free to reach out to me with any questions. I think my address is on the adverts and things like that. So there'll be that interviewing period, and then there will be the hiring phase. So there's not like 2-step interviews as of yet. I haven't heard any of the managers ask for any of that. So you'll only be expected to have one interview, and then you will hear from us if you have been offered the position. There will be after that, there'll be the kind of pre-boarding phase. You'll be some information will be shared with you about the programme, about Cambridge, how to get to Cambridge, and that kind of general information. And then on the first week, which will fall on the 14th of July, there'll be an induction period before students are released into the business to kind of take on their 8-week placement. And I've just seen a question come up, and interviews will be online rather than in person.
Amazing. Well, thank you. We are at time. There's a few questions that have been not having time to get to them and perhaps answer the more specific inquiries. If there are questions that have been left unanswered, then please do reach out to Cambridge University Press and Assessment for further clarification. But thanks everyone for attending today. I'm just going to share our QR code for feedback. So bear with me while I do that. And hopefully everyone can see that. Here we go. If you could kindly let us know your feedback, please do use your phone. Otherwise, I will pop a link in the chat. We run these sessions to try and support you to put in stronger applications. I hope it's been useful. I hope that some of your questions have been answered in coming along. And we do genuinely love to read your feedback. So please do let us know. And I'll pop a link in the chat. Bear with me a second. There you go. If you're able to, please do provide some feedback on today's session. And I just wanted to say a huge thank you to Khadija, to Carrie, to Rachel and to Kaya for answering everyone's questions so thoughtfully and for providing further context on all these amazing opportunities available. Best of luck to those of you that decide to put in an application. I hope that you're able to put in a strong application with today's advice and guidance, and best of luck with it. I'm going to say cheerio. Would love to hear your feedback if you get the chance. But otherwise, thanks everyone for joining. Thanks for the team behind the scenes and making this happen. And thanks to our lovely audience for being so engaged and asking brilliant questions. Have a lovely evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.